We have backstage details on Bryan Danielson's AEW contract. Plus, WWE reacts to a talent name change backlash. And The Undertaker reveals why he will never wrestle again. It's all in the wrestling news right now. You know Sam laughing at the end of the headlines knows the final one is going to be a chatty one. It's going to be one of them. Bryan Danielson talking about his contract for AEW. So he was on MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani. Was asked about his AEW contract and if it would be his last wrestling contract. Straight to the question. Bryan Danielson says, I think so. When I signed this deal, Brie Bella and I were thinking this would be my last contract. What I'm kind of hoping is that I'm having so much fun and feeling so good by the end of the 3 years. I've worked so hard, had so many intense matches that my body doesn't feel great, like repairable. So if I stop wrestling for 6 months, I might feel as good as new. But I feel like, okay, I'm now done being a full-time wrestler. So he's hoping that by the time his 3 years are up, so there's the reveal here. Bryan Danielson's AEW contract is 3 years.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping he'd be like, well, we knew this was going to be my last contract, so I signed a 32-year one.
Yeah, tied till death. He says the concern would be that if he gets to the end of the 3 years, he's like, yeah, I still feel great.
Yeah.
Like he'll be tempted to sign again. He kind of is willing himself to be broken down over the next 3 years, but enough so he can still have a good quality of life and raise a family and do all that good stuff as well. So he's hoping that 3 years of just throwing himself at the wall will kind of beat the bug out of him, essentially. He also talked about wrestling in Japan, and he said, I have to clear it through AEW at first, but they, being New Japan, have to be my priority. Even going to Japan right now is hard with COVID and all that stuff. I'm able to do that, though. To be fair, WWE was going to let me do that as well. With the contract they offered me, and when I was talking to them, I wanted to be able to go and wrestle these guys all over the world, and they were going to allow me to do that.
Yeah,
that's a bit groundbreaking.
We reported on this around the time of Bryan's release, because it was very much, well, released. Bryan's contract's kind of rolling off into the meadow. WWE really wanted to keep hold of him, and so you know when you have the sway of somebody the size of Daniel Bryan, you're gonna make those exceptions, aren't you? You're gonna go. You can go to Japan, and then Dolph Ziggler goes, "Can I get shut up?"
But I love the idea of them maybe doing that a bit, because they used to do that a lot in the 90s. Like you had those working relationships with promotions in Japan and around the world where you would send your guys to go and do stuff. And you know what? It's actually and fair play to WWE for considering this with Bryan Danielson. And I hope that they do it with other people.
They're not gonna.
I know, but I like the idea. Like it's a great way to season somebody.
If you're Steve Austin or Daniel Bryan, you get to go to Japan. Rey Mysterio could likely get some bookings in Japan. Maybe. Jeff Hardy? Maybe.
Bron Breakker versus Ishii.
I wish we'd have Bron Breakker in New Japan. I wish we could have Bron Breakker versus Ishii. But
Bron Breakker would do great in Japan.
He really would.
He really would.
Really would.
But I think that's a real positive if WWE willing to do that with Bryan Danielson. And I know you're saying like it would only be select for you.
Oh yeah,
but I like the idea of them doing.
It wouldn't surprise me with the pressure that the Forbidden Door is going to put on them that we might start seeing some more friendliness with other promotions. But at the same time, I just don't see it happening.
I'd be delighted if it did. Let's see what happens. WWE are reacting to a bit of a backlash on their front today. So this is all revolving around NXT referee Chloe Christmas and a name change that she was given. Why? In the name of all that is holy, if you have somebody on your roster called Chloe Christmas, why would you change their name? That's a brilliant name.
They cancelled Christmas. That's
they quite literally cancelled Christmas. Well done.
Can you imagine that Chloe Christmas? It's such an easy chant.
Oh, it's an easy chant.
God, no, it'd have to be like, I don't know, Haid Vanson. What's a Chloe Christmas equivalent of Haid Vanson?
Hazel Vanson. It was previously reported that Chloe Christmas had been given the new name of Paige, Paige, which led to Divas champion Paige, who is still on the payroll.
I'm the only person that's allowed that name.
It's just simply Paige. I mean, if you're just calling them Paige and nothing else, and you already have somebody else called Paige.
It's just, why would you even do it? Like, what's you idiocy? Why would you give the name to somebody if you...
Paige did the Spider-Man gif in response to it.
Yeah.
The second best use of the Spider-Man gif this week from a wrestler. And there was backlash from Paige fans going, why are you changing their name to
Yeah.
Paige? We've already got a Paige. Anyway, in an update, WWE have changed Chloe Christmas's name again. Have they gone with Chloe Christmas? You asked what the female version of Haid Vanson was.
Go on, hit me
Is
with
the
it.
answer Blair Baldwin?
Blair Baldwin. That's a very WWE official name.
Blair Baldwin.
Your official tonight is Blair Baldwin.
Baldwin was previously on Twitter as Ref Paige WWE. Now she's at Blair Baldwin WWE. So do seek her out. Like, I think that's just somebody not quite crossing a T and dotting a lowercase J.
Christmas, come on, man.
Chloe Christmas.
Chloe Christmas, such a good name.
Give
But
us
at the same-
Christmas, you cowards.
Yeah.
This is fun. Speaking of NXT, I love that WWE did this. So they had their ticket party for WrestleMania 38 at the AT&T in Dallas, Texas. And they put on matches.
Nice.
They had like a little mini NXT show at the AT&T. Okay, quick results from that. Odyssey Jones beats LA Knight. Zion Quinn batters Grayson Waller. My mate Zion Quinn wasn't very happy with me on Twitter about the remember the heat thing, the thermometer thing we did, and I said he was cold.
Oh.
He sent me a gif of Jack Nicholson at the end of the freezing. I think we're friends now. MSK beat Legado del Fantasma and Raquel Gonzalez beat Dakota Kai. I liked that there was a thing.
I like this. I really do. It's like when they started adding live wrestling to the Access shows. But one thing I really hope is that this show took place centre field at AT&T.
I think it did.
I mean, it's football season, so I don't think it did. But if it did, I'd be loving it, because if that was in the middle of there, you've basically got 100,000 seats and then this tiny ring, and you just hear thump, and it'll just echo around the arena.
It'll look a bit like that Global Force Wrestling show they did. I think it was at a baseball stadium.
Where they awkwardly filmed the grass instead of the empty stand.
And you've got like Kevin Nash walking out onto a baseball field to the reaction of 12 people.
Was that the one where they pretended AJ had come back from WWE for one night despite the fact he was in Bullet Club gear and clearly like 5 years younger?
Do you know what? It might have been.
Anyway.
That's a story to be told, Global Force Wrestling. That is a story
Give us
to
your
be
gold.
told. I've got this great idea. Buy some gold off
I'll give you a free 8x10.
I want to write the history. I want to write the real history.
I
of
can't
Global
wait
Force
for him to get
Wrestling.
to that on his podcast.
Oh, I don't think he's looking forward to it. Because for Conrad going, Jeff, why are you trying to sell us gold?
He got salty during the Austin 316 episode enough anyway, so...
Conrad is great because
Conrad's
he's
class.
so good at. He knows just how much to needle them to get the right answers out of them. A lot of respect for Conrad Thompson. He's my boy. I love him. Final, The Undertaker will never wrestle again. Here's what.
Likely the Undertaker's never going to wrestle again. Like,
Never.
Seriously. It is very likely he will never wrestle
Forever.
again. That is why I can't take any wrestler saying this seriously.
Never.
So the Undertaker revealed to Sports Radio 96.7, both my hips are partial hip replacements already. I need a right knee, so I have surgeries lined up.
So he's already broken.
Speaking with Dallas Morning News, he explained why he'll never wrestle again. When you see Undertaker, you pay money to see that guy wrestle. I can't deliver physically on what people's expectations are. The passion is obviously still there. I think it'll always be there. It's just the physical side of it. My time has come, my time has gone. This is the WWE and things happen. You never know. But I know my time has passed and it's time for these young guys to step up and take over and lead us to where we're going until I get that call from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Never. No, because he'll go, thank you for the offer of $1 million.
He rings his cousin. Can you just do fake Undertaker and I'll give you a quarter of the money.
Brian Lee is doing a meet and greet this weekend. So primetime Brian Lee's back in the house. Send Brian Lee over there. Underfaker in all his glory.
Versus fake Yokozuna. Oh.
That's it. Do the thing.
Let's just have a WWE officially licensed tribute show.
Oh, like the old days of British wrestling. Oh. Glory days in our scene, they were glory days. On the podcast feed later today, a brand new episode of Desert Island Graps. I'm in conversation with the Savage Gentleman, Victor Benjamin, who you saw in AEW the other day. And at the same time, it's a husband-wife combo. Lady Frost is in as well.
Nice.
Chatting to Star of Impact Wrestling, NWA Lady Frost. And they talk about wrestling as a married couple and their amazing relationship with Mick Foley. Like, it was pretty showbiz when they said, we're doing this interview with you, and then we're meeting Mick for lunch. So, that's class. I like that. It's
Cheers, I'm going to go to Tesco and get a wrap.
rock and or roll, not necessarily in that order. Have a great day, whatever you're doing. Stay safe.
Bye.
Love you, bye.